Ready to go. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of the RGM Experience Podcast. With me, Carl Maloney, here in Manchester. And today's guest, ladies and gentlemen, is none other than Jen Dixon. Hi, mate.
Hi, mate. You all right?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you.
Good.
How's your day been?
Long.
It's been a long one today.
It's been a long one. So,
Okay.
having to work at the same time as doing music and stuff is a bit of a pain in the bum, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel that. I've got a full-time job on top of doing RGM, and RGM's pretty much a full-time job on its own as well. So it's finding time to, it's not easy to find time to just to chill, is it? Sometimes.
No, because the time to chill is the time that I'm writing or
Yeah.
like trying to push the social media or, because I'm a one-man band essentially
Yeah.
for everything at the moment. So
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us for the podcast. We're going to cover loads of ground today, ladies and gentlemen, and I like to go right back to the start. Just tell us a little bit about you, what you were like before you got into music, just to discover a little more about little Jen Dixon. What were you like?
So when I was younger, I was well into football, and I used to play football quite competitively. And I started playing drums when I was like 11, and did drums until I was probably about 18, 19.
What position did you play at football?
Centre back.
Okay.
It's because I'm tall.
Why centre back? Oh, okay.
They just put me at the back. But when I played, because I started playing again probably about 5-6 years ago just for fun, and I got put I was on left wing or up front or in midfield, which I really enjoyed.
Okay, so you can turn yourself to any position then, really.
Yeah, depending on the level.
Yeah,
like, I couldn't play like left wing for England, like
okay.
but yeah, it's just fun, isn't it? So
Yeah. Sure. So, and is it Middlesbrough Teesside way? Is that where you're based?
yeah, it's Teesside way. Yeah. I live in a place called Mask by the Sea, which shockingly is by the sea, in Teesside. So yeah, it's cool.
So into your sports, started playing drums at 11. That must have been nice for parents to have a child that wants to play drums.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't actually get a kit until I think I was 13, 14. I was in year 9, and I think they finally realised that I was going to stick to it, because I'm the type of person that starts something and then I lose interest and I do something else. So I think they finally went, okay, she's serious about this now, we'll get her a drum kit. And then
how did they realise you were serious about it though? Were you just tapping things all the time?
I think I just didn't give up the lessons. I just didn't get bored of it. And yeah, and then I got in a band, and it was like, right, well, you need a drum kit because you're now in a band, and it's hard to play the drums without a drum kit. Yes. So yeah, I got one for Christmas in year 9, and that's where it all began, really.
And did they put you out of the way in a garage somewhere to play it, or were you allowed in the house, or did you have them? You can put stuff on drums these days to make them play it, can't you?
Yeah, I had the loft room, my parents, and we did have the silencers on them, so we still made a racket. But I think I mostly played at school, to be honest. I wasn't very good at practicing either.
So 11's quite young to discover drums, I think. What
yeah, my uncle played drums.
Okay.
And then my cousin played drums, and I always used to think that she was really cool, and so I thought I want to do that. So just sort of, she gave me a drum lesson. I mean, she's only a few years older than me, so she was young at the time, and I thought, oh, this is really good fun. But the drum lessons were like 20 minutes a week. You paid about 40 quid for them, and just not that great, like doing your grades, and it was really boring and dull. It wasn't until I got in the band that I started actually thinking, oh, this is really good fun, and I really want to keep doing it.
So did you stop playing football to go into music, or you just get bored?
No, I did them alongside each other for quite a few years. Played football seriously until I was about 20. And then I was sort of in my final year of uni, and had jobs and a house, and just sort of football I didn't have the time for it anymore, really, because it was twice a week, going up to like Sunderland twice a week, And then the match as well on the Sunday, which could have been like in London or something, and you'd use your whole weekend. I just couldn't keep up with it.
Was it Sunderland you played for then?
So I played for Borough when I was growing up until I was 16 in the academy, and then I went to Sunderland for a couple of years, and then I was in Durham, which were in Women's Super League 2 when it first got formed, for about a year, and then I gave it all up.
Is it an injury, or you just got to your level type thing? Or?
I started really struggling with my recovery and not being able to be recovered in time for the match on Sunday after training on a Thursday, and it was like really weird. And I went to the doctors, and they basically said there's problems with your blood, and I was like, right. And then they basically diagnosed me with like an autoimmune condition, which basically just said you're not going to recover or do as well as a normal 20-year-old would. And I just sort of made the decision that it was time to hang up the boots, and because it was never going to be a career, it was always going to be a hobby, and there was other things that I could focus on. So I just gave it up. But a few years later, did go back just to play for fun with the local team at Redcar, and did that for a few years and really loved it. But now if I header a ball, I may bleed in my brain, so I had to knock it on the head altogether. So
I can see why. Good idea.
Yeah. Sometimes you've got to listen to a doctor, haven't you?
Yeah, sometimes.
But I still go surfing, and there is a slight risk of head injury, but obviously not as much as headering a ball 5 or 6 times a game. So
yeah, fair enough. So, tell us something about yourself that you think we'll be surprised about.
Yeah. So I'm a grade 8 figure skater.
Oh, okay. Grade 8. So is that how where's that on like?
Oh, I have no idea. This was before I started football. I was I think I was about 8 or something, and me and my sister did ice skating. But I just wanted to bomb around, I wanted to be a speed skater and just go meow and spray people with ice and stuff. Whereas my sister was all like, oh, da, da, and just not me at all. So yeah, I stopped, and she kept going, and she still does it, to be fair. So yeah, but I stopped doing it, which I'm sure my parents were very happy about, because it's quite an expensive hobby.
You know the band Twisted Wheel?
No.
Johnny Brown, who sings for Twisted Wheel, they're quite a big band, and
right.
When I asked him, it's why I like asking this question, because I asked it him for the first time, and he's right into ice skating, and it was just like, I don't know, you just find out little interesting things about personalities when you ask that kind of question. So, yeah, I just like throwing it in there a little bit and just seeing what comes up. And ice skating's coming out a lot.
Yeah, why is that? I mean, there's a couple of things that I was thinking about, but the most surprising is probably that, because I'm not a girly girl at all, and thinking
tutus and that.
Seeing pictures of me in a purple leotard was just like not me at all. So
did they wear tutus in ice skating, or am I way off?
I think it's leotards.
Is it? It's leotards.
I think it's more of a leotard situation, but they're like dresses, aren't they? But then they're
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, don't ask me.
Okay, are we getting out of depth here by any chance?
Slightly out of my depth. If you go back to like football and
football, jeans, music, drums, skinny jeans.
Yeah.
Right, well, let's go back there. So you started drums at 11.
Yeah.
And how did you develop into like learning other instruments then, when you had this love for drums and?
Oh god. So I went to college to do A levels and realised that I hated it about 2 weeks later.
Yep.
And a couple of my mates were on the BTEC music course. And they went, why don't you come and play drums for a couple of years? And obviously 16-year-old Jen was like, that's a great idea. What a great thing to do with 2 years of my life. So went into that and just played drums in a band for 2 years, got a BTEC, got my grade 8 music theory, that sort of thing. Dabbled with sort of a guitar because they were around, and other people were obviously playing them. Didn't really know too much, just tried to teach myself a bit and didn't really get anywhere. And then I went to uni to do music. 2 weeks later, realised it wasn't what I wanted to do. There's a theme. There's a theme.
Okay.
And the course
just going to make a note, indecisive.
Slightly indecisive.
Okay.
I went next door and I just said, can I join your course? It was the sound engineering course.
Yeah.
And I'd never recorded a thing. I'd never like plugged a microphone in. I was a drummer. I hadn't even plugged a guitar into an amp. Just went, I was like, can I do this course? This sounds interesting. And stupidly they went, yeah, that's fine. Be all right. And yeah, joined this course a month late, knowing absolutely nothing. And during that time, obviously learned how to produce music and record and do live sound and, 3 years of all this stuff. And during that time, I got more serious about teaching myself to play, and just taught myself with videos and stuff.
I did a course on music technology, it was called, in Darnell Music Factory in Sheffield. And it puts you in good stead, doesn't it, to learn these type of things? Because on my little course, it told you how to solder leads and make your own leads and that kind of stuff, and really handy stuff that you take through as a musician. Or I played in a band for a bit. It helps you out when you're just in the rehearsal room when you want to make things sound better. It's great to have that experience in it to take forward in your life.
It changed the way that I thought about music altogether, because before I got onto that course, I didn't actually think about music from a radio, a film, different. I just thought music is just songs that you buy on a CD, or now you download them on iTunes or whatever. I didn't actually think about how much sound there is in the world. And how many potential jobs there are within the sound industry. Just like things like jingles and stuff, you think, oh yeah, somebody has to record them. It opened my mind up to the world of sound, essentially. And that's where the journey probably started.
Yeah, because you've sat in your own studio now, that you've built in your house there. So you produce your own music, you record now, you've got all these songs, you're producing a new single at the minute too. So it stuck with you, hasn't it?
Yeah, but it didn't. So when I came out of uni, even though I've just said there's loads of jobs doing all these things, in the northeast of England there didn't really seem to be many jobs at all. So I ended up actually doing something slightly different. I work in audiology, which is hearing and hearing tests and things like that. But obviously still relevant to my degree, but not what I wanted to do with my life. But stuff happens. And then when COVID hit and I was furloughed, I was like, what am I going to do? Potentially don't know how long I'm going to be off for. Over the previous years, I'd started to play at open mic nights with a friend because I had terrible stage fright. I didn't want to do them on my own. So I got in a little duo, and the first recording of me singing and playing, my voice is like Snow White. It's like, it's like just like wobbling everywhere because I was so scared.
Yeah.
And then the Christmas before lockdown, I was like, right, this is my year. I'm going to do gigs on my own, and I'm going to go to pubs and do gigs. I did one gig, and then COVID hit, and I was like, oh,
okay,
what do I do? What do I do now? So I bought a load of gear. And just thought, well, I'm sat in my house on my own for months. Let's start writing some stuff of my own, and release my first single in October after that.
Something as like shitty as COVID, when it happens, it has opened up. I always try and look for positives in it, and it does open up opportunities for people to try different things. And it sounds like it has some for you a bit there.
It changed my life completely. Obviously it changed everybody's lives in a certain way, and I'm sure we're all sick of talking about it, but it was my chance to think, well, you've always wanted to do it, you've always wanted to be singing at the front instead of hiding at the back, like why don't you do it with your own songs? I've never written a song before, but I thought, let's give it a go. And just it just sort of I enjoyed it. So I just thought, let's keep doing it.
When I was in a band, I'm absolutely ridiculous and shit with lyrics. It just horrible cheesiness just comes out. I'm better at music and rhythm and
Mm.
melody. I just can't. My brain just doesn't do lyrics well at all. How did you find, starting to put your own words to music too? How did you?
Awful, awful. Still do. It's still the worst part for me. I feel very. I feel like I'm probably too like close to them, but also what I'm saying, I feel like it is very like hard on my sleeve, and I feel a bit worried that people are gonna, read into things or that sort of thing. And I remember the second song that I released was actually the first song that I wrote, and it was a lovely heartbreak song about my first relationship, from years ago. And I went into for a review in Narc magazine, and the person was really awful, and just said that like my lyrics were clunky and weak, and I was like, oh, well, it's only my second song, sort of thing in my head, but that sort of thing makes you go, oh, I'm a bit crap at this, aren't I? And it sort of took me a while to go, well, actually, it's only someone's opinion, and that song actually, Why Did We Crash, is my most streamed song, so it's the one that people like the most.
Yeah.
But this critic said they were clunky and weak. And the next song that I did, Which Way's Down, in the rap, I might have put the words clunky and weak in there just to,
I love that because, as because I run RGM magazine, I sometimes get stuck in the middle of artists and reviews. Sometimes, quite a few, when bands get reviewed that I've got gigs on in Manchester, and we've had you playing in Manchester before, and we've reviewed you before. Potentially, it could have come back. I don't know. It is one person's opinion, and bands can, or artists can, get quite affected by a negative review, even if it's got constructive feedback in it. I like to see reviews with constructive feedback in it. And the people that make it in the industry are the people that do what you've just said that you did. You didn't really take it to heart. You kind of like, you took the experience on and like made a joke of
yeah.
it in your next song. It
I
didn't get too down by it. And just,
initially, like, I read it and I was like, oh, this is like,
yes.
my heart sank, and I just thought, oh, okay. And it did take me a little while. I was in a bit of a slump because I just thought, why am I doing this? But I think when you're in the music industry, what I'm slowly learning is that everybody can't be your fan. You can't please everybody.
Yeah.
And I think the motivation for me is that I just enjoy doing it. So if the odd person says to me, I think your music's rubbish, and I go, well, that's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to like it.
Yeah.
Just don't listen to it, and that's fine. So I'm slowly learning that, and it's a really difficult industry to cut through, and there's so much music released all the time. You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and you're not going to reach everybody either. So you just got to enjoy it.
You seem to have got a strong fan base. Just having you as part of the RGM Cup thing, that online Twittery thing we did. I know, just because I encouraged you to apply for that, just to see how you got on a little bit. Because you were like, nobody's going to vote for me, blah, blah, blah. But you did really well on it.
Yeah.
So, were you surprised by the people that supported you there?
Yeah, I was really surprised. I think it's tricky because sometimes, like, you look at things like Spotify streams and think nobody's listening, nobody cares, and then something like that comes along, and like the whole of Twitter gets behind you, and even though you're going against bands with multiple members, somehow still sticking up there, like as an independent artist with no management and no nothing. I didn't think I'd get anywhere near getting through the first round, never mind being in the final. So that was amazing, and I'm really, really grateful for anybody that supports me, puts me up for gigs, like just anything. Like it's amazing. I never expect it. I'm always shocked every time.
Why are you so shocked all the time?
I don't know. I think people probably just like me for the chickens. Like that could be
Okay.
part of it.
I've got
I
a
don't
full
know. I
half an
think
hour of the interview all on chickens coming up. Good segue.
expecting it. I don't know. I think it's probably like a self-esteem thing, isn't it? Like I see so many amazing artists, and I just think I don't deserve the support that I have. I just think I'm just I'm not actually very good, but thank you for supporting me anyway.
You
Like
do though.
that's
You do deserve
so.
it though.
I'll thank you.
Well, I kind of like.
Might believe you one day.
Well, yeah. Well, I came across you online and embraced your quirkiness with the chickens and that kind of stuff because it's nobody else is taking photos with chickens out there and looking after
Of course
them.
they're not.
Of course they're not. And then I saw you started to do music. I just followed you on Twitter. Saw the kind of like you're a bit quirky, aren't you? You're quite funny. I like that in a person.
I like to think so.
so I kind of like got on board in Team Dixon really, and just went with it and brought you put the RGM arm around you a little bit, and just and that's another reason why we're here really. Because I wanted to get to know you a little bit more. I've seen you at a couple of gigs. We've had you on in Manchester, and I saw you at that. What was that charity gig called again? That
Party in the Pews.
Yeah, the one at Atma. I just walking about and thought, oh, Jen Dixon's here.
Oh, that one. Yeah. I thought you meant the Party in the Pews, but I missed you at that, didn't I?
Oh yeah, I went there. I was severely hungover after Alan Partridge in Sheffield, and I couldn't get there.
There you go.
I was in Sheffield and didn't quite make it over. But yeah, you did Party in the Pews in Macclesfield. We did cover a few days of that too. So things are bubbling, aren't they? Do you feel like things are getting better or easier?
Yeah, slowly, and even sort of locally, things are starting to sort of progress, I suppose. There's a few local festivals that I always obviously thought I'd love to get onto these. Now, like last year, obviously because of COVID, I think most of the festival lineups were already sort of like produced because of the people who've been waiting for a couple of years. But I did get asked on to one and just got onto one in a local one in Monroe Festival, and Red Rum Club were headlining that. And there is a couple of other ones. There's a festival at Middlesbrough Town Hall on the 6th of August, which is got so many amazing artists on there that are local. And for me to be actually getting my name up there with these artists that have been around for quite a few years, despite me doing my first gig probably a year ago now, it shows me that I am progressing, and I'm really happy with how it's going. I've just got to keep.
You had that big show at an O2 Academy gig as well, didn't you? What was that?
Yeah, my first band gig was that Leeds O2 Academy.
There you go. So I saw that online.
At all.
Go on, talk us through how that came about and the experience of it as being your first gig, because that's a massive gig to have for your first band gig, isn't it?
Yeah, so previously I'd just been acoustic, and the South Martins from this area, and I did an acoustic support slot for them. I don't know when it was, probably before Christmas at some point, and they basically asked me to do a support slot again at the Newcastle O2 in January. And that was just an acoustic. And then they said, well, you've done Newcastle, do you want to do Leeds? And I'd said, yes, but can I do it with the band? Because I'm just getting the band together. And Andy, the lead singer, said, yeah. So I was like, oh, okay.
Nice.
I don't think there's time to get a gig in beforehand, so it's going to be the first gig with the band. And yeah, it was incredible. It was so good because obviously the sound is amazing. And just as
it's
a
all
band,
downhill from there, isn't it, I suppose?
Well, yeah, potentially. But yeah, we all really, really enjoyed it. It was a fantastic experience. So I really appreciate the South Martins for doing that for me. But yeah, if anyone else needs a support act, you know where I am.
There we go. And what's the band called? I haven't seen the band name. Is it?
Just me, just Jen Dixon,
okay. Jen Dixon.
And I just have the band playing the songs basically to bring them to life a bit more. So
Well, I was worried about you for a little bit because I saw you getting frustrated with, because it's frustrating when you're a solo artist and you're in the industry and you feel like it's just you against the world sometimes, and other people around you are getting opportunities, and you can see other people getting opportunities, and you're just like, oh, this fucking hard work, this thing. I could see you getting frustrated, so I was worried about you a little bit, thinking you were going to pack it in, but it's perfectly normal to get frustrated. Everybody does it. Um, it is that's how I felt about some of your posts and that kind of stuff. Is that a true reflection of how it's been for you? And it's a struggle, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very, very frustrating because you not just me, like I know artists that have been plugging away for years and just don't they seem to just be on a treadmill and they're not actually getting anywhere, and they're just doing the same venues and over, and they put so much into it and they're not getting anywhere. And then somebody that's literally picked up a guitar 6 months ago dresses in clothes that are a bit too short or whatever, and like puts
Okay.
on a lot of makeup, and they're signed, and somebody's producing their songs for them and putting them all over radio stations, and you just think, I know it's the way the industry is, certain people sell, and that's unfortunately the truth of it. But it is frustrating from an artist point of view and from a personal point of view to see artists not getting the recognition that they deserve. Not saying that's me, because I'm still one of these very new people that's only been doing it for, I mean, like say first gig a year ago. So people are probably looking at me and getting annoyed that I'm getting some of the local gigs that they've been dreaming to get for years. But unfortunately, it is the way the industry goes. A lot of it is who you know. But I think with frustration comes the ability to stick it out, I suppose.
Are you stubborn?
No, I am stubborn.
Okay.
I am. At certain stuff, like I don't want to give up at anything. I like to prove that I can do something, but equally I'm realistic. So like part of me is like, oh, getting on. There's all these, young lasses that are going to come and take my place. So I have a bit of I put myself under pressure, and I feel like I'm time pressured because, the older you get, the harder it is to make it, essentially.
It used to be that way.
Mm.
I mean, do you mind me asking how old you are?
28.
28. So it used to be that, when I were in a band, I can remember getting to like 24 and thinking, oh, it's just not going to happen now. That's it.
Mm.
And that was a long time ago. There's breakthrough artists that are coming through in the 30s. Even 40s, like comedians don't get famous really till they're 40 because they need a bit of life. We speak to a lot of comedians on the podcast, and they don't, start doing things till like late 30s, 40s. So I wouldn't stress yourself over that, mate. There's plenty of time yet. You're only a young'un, mate.
Well, yeah. The thing is, I'm young at heart, and I like to think that I don't act my age in a lot of ways.
Good.
Although in other ways, I'm a granny, so I balance it out.
Let's get on to the chickens then. Why chickens? Just talk me through these little. I got to name one. You used the name that I suggested for one, Rod Stewart.
Rod. I say Rod's name every day. Rod hates me. I don't know whether it's because I called her Rod. It is a girl.
Yeah,
so
I know. Yeah, it's fine. I've got a cat called Rita, and it's a boy. They don't mind. They don't care.
Nah, they don't know. Your cat probably hates you. Why chickens?
Yeah, what got you into the chicken thing? For anybody that doesn't know, is it your own coop in the back, around the back?
Yeah, in my garden. Yeah, I've got the chickens just roam around the garden like it's their own, and in the house as well at times.
Okay. So why chickens?
I became a veggie probably about 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Not like one of those weird people that pushes it on people, but I just generally just don't like the welfare side of things. Okay. So I was told about hens that lay eggs, and how when they're 18 months old, they get sent and killed, basically. So even though these hens are all quite healthy and still laying, they start to lay less and become less viable for the farmer. They don't make them
It's a
as
horrible
much
way
money
to
and things like
think of
that.
an animal, isn't it? It's not,
Yeah.
not productive enough.
So these hens have been kept in a cage for 18 months. They're laying eggs every day. Sometimes they turn the lights on and off twice a day to trick their bodies, to make them think and make them lay twice as much and things like that. It's like a really horrible industry.
Yeah.
And I found this out and just thought it was awful. And then I saw that there was charities that take some of these, and there's millions of hens every year that this goes through, but this charity tries to save some every sort of so many months, and you can put them in your garden and they can have a retirement and live, scratch grass for the first time. And I saw this was a thing and I was like, I need to do this.
Yes.
So I did. I knew nothing about them, hens, at all. I tried to pick one up when I first got it and went, ah, because it flapped at me.
Okay.
I was terrified of picking them up because they flapped. And yeah, it just went from there. And then now I'm a volunteer for the charity that I get them off. And I'm a poorly hen carer as well. So ones that come with broken wings and dislocated limbs and stuff. I'm one of the people that volunteer to look after them.
Did you have to put little pots on?
They so the one with the dislocated wing had to be strapped up for 4 weeks, and then the one that broke her wing, once she went into the vets to have, my vet loves me, like sarcastically, he really probably doesn't because I'm there all the time with poorly hens. But he operated on this hen and fixed its wing. But once it was operated on, he's like, no, it's fine now, just off you go. Yeah. So they don't need pots on, but yeah, it was just sort of strapped for a bit.
And is that like another qualification that you had to do to know what to do? Or you just kind of like, you've just been around them and you know how
you just learn as you go along. Like you get them and something happens and you go, oh dear, what's going on? Take it to the vets, they explain what it is, and then next time you know, and you can, like, now I just ring up and say, I need this antibiotic, and he's like, okay, and he just puts it out for me. So yeah, you sort of just get, you just learn every
time. Is it expensive then?
Not massively.
Are you helped by the charity with it?
Yeah, the charity for the hens that have like broken wings and stuff, the charity do pay for the operations. When I actually have a hen and if like it gets ill, so a lot of it is their egg laying stuff causes problems because they start to wear out and they get tumors and all that sort of stuff. So that's where you tend to need to get like antibiotics because they get like internal infections or they get an egg stuck and then you have to try and get it out somehow and things like that. So those things, it's like £8 for some antibiotics or something. So it's not like extortionate. My vets are great though. I think if you go to other vets, you might end up paying a lot more. I wanted to go to an out of hours vet to get one put to sleep once, and they wanted to charge me £160 to put the chicken to sleep. My vet charges £10, so it was a bit like. So yeah, depends where you go, I'm sure. But it's
how many have you got? Like 20?
No, at the moment I've got 6.
6, okay.
The most I've had in the garden is 9. But they poo everywhere. So if you have too many, it really is like just it's a bit of a mess. So it's hard to keep on top of. So I try to limit it to sort of 6 or 7. But sometimes I end up with people giving me them. So I have a few posh ones. So Rod, that you named,
yes,
was from a guy around the corner who a dog killed the other hen. So she was on her own. And because it was the bird flu situation, he couldn't rehome anything or whatever. So she was on her own. So I rehomed her. So
it does look like Rod Stewart though, doesn't it? Yeah,
she definitely looks like Rod Stewart. All my hens are very well named. So the white one's called Snowy.
Okay.
So very, very, very well thought of names.
Okay. Go on. What's the other names from?
So I tend to call them I just rescued 2 baby chicks, and they were going to be called Thelma and Louise, but I ended up just calling them twinnies, and I just go because they're always together, so I just call them the twins. Okay. And then I've got again, it's terrible. I've got Gingy and Blackie, like literally
a black one and a ginger one. Okay, right, okay.
The little fluffy ones. They came to me with names because the lady that had to rehome them gave them names, but I don't know what they were. I just call them by what one of my very first hens came and she was
The
like
snowy, blacky, and ginger. Okay, there's a
yeah,
definite
and
theme
then
there, Jen.
but I have had like baldy before and scruffy and like whatever they look like. One of them had a limp because when I put her strapping on a dislocated, she didn't know how to walk. So when she walked, she was like just like really weird. So she got called Stompy. Okay. So you know, there's method in the madness. But yeah.
Well, I've got another one of those little offbeat questions a little bit for you, okay? And it's the first time we had Spangled on the show last week, and they gave me a great answer for theirs. And it is all around just the mundane and a mundane task that we all have to go through when we live our lives in this house and that kind of stuff. If you could name one mundane task, what would you get rid of? So there must be something around the house that you just don't want to do anymore. I can't be arsed for that thing. It's
I hate washing up.
Yes.
It is the worst job. I have a dishwasher, and things that don't go in the dishwasher stand by the sink for a good week.
Jessie from Scarlet didn't like washing up. She said the same kind of thing because so I've said we'll buy her a dishwasher.
You still got to put them in and empty it though.
You do.
And you can't put everything in there. So the things that don't go in there just tend to sit. The other thing I put in the bin as well is hoovering the stairs. Yes. Don't know why. It really infuriates me.
Jessie said hoovering as well. She said hoovering because the hoovers are the same size as her. And it's quite hard to push this bloody thing round away.
Oh no, that's not an issue. I have a shark, and it's like pretty good. I'm quite good at doing the flat, but yeah, just the stairs because you have to get different bits and like not having it.
Yeah, no, I get it. I hate having to put socks away.
Yeah, I don't pair them. I
don't. If you saw my wife's sock drawer, which is like perfection, like everything paired and neatly packed away.
That's too much time.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's, and then you looked at mine, and it's just a handful of random socks just chucked in a drawer.
Yeah, that's me. And then I have to find them every morning, which one goes with which one. But I'm all right with that. That's fine.
Odd socks every day.
Yeah, I'm an odd sock.
We can live with that, can't we? We can live with that.
Yeah, it's fine. My socks are normally those little ones that you can't see anyway.
Well, I don't know how long or how much legs the mundane task has got, but I do like asking little questions like that.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see what people's houses would potentially be like. So you know that I have loads of pots in the kitchen.
Yes.
So,
yes.
And the people out with Spangled don't have hoovered carpets.
Well, the people like stuff like that, really. You can do these interviews and talk about music and that kind of stuff, but music gets talked about a lot. That's why I like, changing it. I don't know, spicing it up a bit and just talking about different stuff. People invest with personalities if they know a bit about them.
Definitely.
For trying it out. One last question then before we get onto your new EP that you're planning at the minute. Do you sign up to any conspiracy theories?
Yes.
Nice one. Go on.
This is where people think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
But it's all good. The Titanic conspiracy theory. Do you know it?
No, but I've just been to Belfast and I went to the Titanic Museum and saw the Titanic under the sea. Actual evidence of it.
Yeah. So no, I'm not saying it didn't happen.
Oh, okay. Go on.
There's a conspiracy theory that the ship that sank wasn't actually the Titanic. Now, bear with me on this one. So the Titanic's sister ship, which I think was the Olympic.
I walked around that ship. It was harboured at the side of the museum.
It's identical to the Titanic, minus a couple of little things like a window or something like that. And apparently, there's a documentary on this. Feel free; it's a very interesting documentary. Apparently, the Olympic had an accident at some point, and they didn't really want to fix it properly. So from an insurance point of view, they swapped the names in the middle of the night, apparently, on the ship. And it was the Olympic that actually sank, and it was already had like a an injury. That's not the word.
The boat.
You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
boat was already injured,
Yes,
and that was the reason that it sank. Apparently,
where's the Titanic now then?
it's the Olympic. What you've
Oh,
you've been?
okay. Oh,
Yeah,
I've been
I'm
on
saying
the.
they swapped them. Like they literally just changed the names overnight, and
Well,
because they were identical.
the one that's outside the museum isn't identical to it. It's like it is called the sister ship, but it's like a smaller, tinier version of it.
Ah, right,
I
okay.
guess
Well,
that's probably not being on it then.
there was three ships, and
Okay.
they were like very. I'm not doing this very good. I'm not making this sound very like, believable.
It's
You need
fine.
to
It's a
watch the
conspiracy theory,
documentary.
so
Watch the documentary. It like draws you in, and you're like, oh
good.
my god, it could have happened. Like it could have. People do anything for insurance, and back then there wasn't all the like photographic evidence and stuff, and
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Any other conspiracy theories? I enjoyed that.
Do you enjoy thinking she's crazy?
No, it's good. It's good. Good. People are getting to know Jen Dixon, and that's the point of this interview. I like it.
I do really like the Titanic. I need to go to the museum thing.
Brilliant.
I do really like the sort of the history of it and everything, but that is a believable conspiracy theory. Okay. I don't know, there's all the conspiracy theories about like 9/11 and stuff like that, but then I sort of worry that like when you delve into that sort of thing, it can be, because it's quite fresh still, isn't it? Yeah. It's a little bit like potentially a little bit disrespectful and can upset people a bit. So I know there's loads of random conspiracy theories about that, but
I went up the World Trade Center 3 months before it all happened. I went up the observatory thing at the top of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, somewhere. I've not been to New York, but I'd obviously go and visit Ground Zero if I got there. But yeah, I think the Titanic is the main conspiracy theory for me.
Yeah. Okay. So when I asked you about the interview, if you've got anything to plug or anything like that, you told me you've got. I saw some pictures out. You've got this half like shadow Jen face. So is this the cover of a new EP that's coming out? Then let's
no
back into the music. No, go on then.
No, that's not. That is just a promo shot. And that is the EP. There is an EP cover. Yeah. The EP cover has actually been around for over a year. Okay. As soon as it was shot, I knew that that's what I wanted for my EP cover. So I'm not telling you what that is, but
well, I can imagine is it going to have your face on it? Because your previous ones have. When you like in loads of milk or something for one of them, and then you drew a clock on your face for another one.
Yeah. So okay. It is me. And it was.
Was it milk, by the way, on that first?
It was milk.
Single, it was white. It was like your little face coming out of this milk.
Yeah, it was milk.
How did you do that?
At the time, I had a housemate, and basically I filled them.
You don't have a housemate anymore because you're getting too messy with milk.
That's not the reason why. Okay. But she, bless her, I was like, I need you to help me do this. She's like, what? I was like, I need to be in milk.
Okay, nice.
So I literally it only took like a couple of pints of milk to make it like, and just fill the bath with water. Put some milk in, and just dunked myself, and we got like a load of lights and pointed them down in different directions. She was like there taking pictures of me. Some of them are hilarious, but got a couple of good ones, nice. Which I used for the Which Way's Down single, I think. So
are you asking me? You should know, mate.
No, I think that's what I think. I think that was the one. Okay. But yeah, I did. I actually did a video for that, and that's where the EP cover was shot. And yeah, I'll be using that. So
and then you drew a clock on your face.
I did.
And then you're going to surprise us for the next EP then with something else on your face. That sounds wrong.
Oh God, this is a family show.
No, sorry, mate.
My oh God, just can't take you anywhere. Okay. I won't have anything on my face.
Okay.
But it will be. It is. I think it's a cool shot. And the back of the cover, the back of the EP will be, hopefully something that people can have a laugh about as well.
Okay. Is it full band as well, or is it you recorded in your studio, or
just me? I was looking at working with a producer for this because I was like, I really want to do it justice. But proving difficult to find anybody that has like the time, and also isn't like too expensive, because at the end of the day I don't have any backing, and I have to pay for it all myself. So I do have the songs there. I'm working on them slowly, but I will be getting somebody else to master them, because I am terrible at doing that, and I want them all to sound the same. But I will. I think I'm just going to plug on with it myself and just go, do you know what? This is me. This is my EP. Hopefully, it'll get some attention and people will really like it. And hopefully, one day someone will go, "You're signed here. Here's a producer," and like, you know, do it with me. But until that point, I've just decided, you know what? I'm doing it on my own, because I've done it so far, and it'll be an achievement to have recorded it all myself as well.
It'll be an absolute pleasure. Ping it over to RGM whenever it's ready. We'll push it out there as well and spread that kind of stuff. Is there anything that you want to share with the Jen Dixon fans out there? Any messages, or is there anything that you'd like to leave them with before we let you move on with your life today?
I guess just like, hopefully I can see everybody at a gig soon. My first local band gig is on the 21st of July at Any Volume in Stockton. So it'd be really cool if people could get down for that if you're local.
We'll put some ticket links and stuff in the description of this podcast, and for the chicken charity as well. We'll put
do that. And if you're not local, you know, I'm sure we can find your spare bedroom if you just want to come down and see it. And also the festival on the 6th of August at the town hall is definitely worth coming down to as well. So it'll be great.
Well, Jen, I've really enjoyed getting to know you a bit more. Thanks for your time this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for joining us on the podcast, and all the best with everything. Keep going, mate. You've got this.
I've got this. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Jen.
All right. Catch you later.